what I read is that there's some people that don't get out of that state. Are you stuck in limerence with someone versus developing a love relationship? Thank you so much for joining us today on Second Act TV. So happy to welcome back Dr. Gary Salyer, the author of Safe to Love Again, How to Release the Pain of Past Relationships and Create the Love You Deserve. Thanks for being here again, Gary.
Thank you, Silka. It's always great being with you. The most fun part is the laughs we have on the pre-show. The outtakes would be great.
Well, what we're referencing really is the topic of today's segment, which is it love or is it limerence? And why is that important? I think that's what we were laughing about, because this is something, again, a word that we come across on the internet constantly, asking us to decide whether or not we really are in love, or is it just an infatuation? And that is something that we should evaluate before getting into another relationship, especially after 50, when we don't have that much more time, to waste. So I thought it was an interesting topic. Gary, what do you think?
Well, I think limerence, everybody knows that it's the attraction stage, the really strong initial attraction stage. Although academically, I will confess that it sounds like a leprechaun that's gotten drunk on too many shamrocks. Limerence, that's all I think of is leprechauns for some reason. But the fact of the matter is, there's this strong period of lust building, you could call it, followed by trust building if you're lucky. And it's that strong attraction. And it's designed millions of years ago to get people together, create babies, to be honest with you. And it's a hormonal concoction of testosterone, estrogen, amplified with dopamine and norepinephrine. It's meant to just make you, I want to go towards that person. Mm-hmm. And it turns off your critical functioning so that there's no red lights. Every red light will turn green, and it's all that. It's just go, go, go. It's initial attraction, and it's meant to get the relationship going. But it is designed to wear off, and it will wear off.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I think what I read is that there's some people that don't get out of that state. And that's what we need to be maybe looking out for. Are you stuck in limerence with someone versus developing a love relationship?
You can have people that mistake all that initial attraction and romance,
right,
with it's like a Garden of Eden. And then the first time you have conflict, oh no, we've been cast out. Now, there are people that get so addicted to that romance and that lust and that attraction, that's a nice stage to be. And then you can keep parts of it later. I just want to say that. You can keep some parts of it, like, good couples do want to tear each other's clothes off. Mm-hmm. Not at the beginning, always at the beginning, and then later on too. There's not a conflict there, but where the conflict comes in is where we think that initial woof is love. And there are some people that think the first time you start having more connection with more conflict, which is what the system is designed for. Oh no, love goes away. Or they just get addicted to the fun times and the high times. And don't we all wish that everything had an upside without a downside?
Right.
Real love is where you have to learn about each other's upside. And there's a downside. There's always the things we have to work out. Nobody's perfect. Mm-hmm. This stage is not designed for that. It's okay to enjoy it, but know that it's not the same as love. Love is something you earn with each other as you go through the next stage. But it's also the booster rocket that gets you off the launch pad of just everyday relationships.
Yeah. Well, what they say here is that the main difference, they say that limerence and love is not the same concept. That the main difference is that love requires a real, meaningful connection, what you're saying, with another person, while limerence is all about the chase and lusting after someone. And that's where some people, with my gathering here, that it again goes back to childhood and wounds and all that stuff that you talk about, that we can't break out of that. And they give some signs here I want to get your input on, but I'll let you comment first.
Well, yes, it is about a chase in terms of when Mother Nature turns on that dopamine. Dopamine is about rewards. I'm going for the rewards. I'm going for it. It is about full on focus. You can't get them off your mind. You can't get sleep. I mean, this is just a part of initial attraction. You have to know you're in that. So it's a form of craziness, crazy thinking. And it's normal. It is normal.
Well, let me get your input then on these signs of limerence. What does Dr. Gary say about this? It says, it says if you're not sure if you're feeling love or limerence, take a look at these major differences. The first one here, you think the person will complete you, that you're looking for a relationship, or asking, are you looking for a relationship, or are you looking for someone to fix you?
There is a certain sense that when you become, I call them missing rights or developmental needs traumas, there's a part that is looking for, how do I complete this missing part of me? Or the part of me that has always been hurting. My savior has arrived. That never works out so well. We think they're going to heal all of our wounds, but eventually every partner will stick each other right in the eye. Well, I mean, that's kind of the way it works. And because all love will test those wounds. And the difference between, I think, limerence and love is a full-bodied heart and soul, knowing and seeing and relying upon each other. It is and it's that deep knowing and value. Whereas limerence is a projection of all of your needs, and there's the attraction, but it's more of a projection than it is a real having stepped into each other.
Yeah,
There's
a real
knowing
connection
versus projection. Limerence projects a whole ton of things. Whereas love has learned to commit through really deep knowing. And it's that difference between knowing. And in limerence, you'll say, oh my God, we're perfect for each other. We're so alike. And when you're there, when there's no differences, that stage is limerence is full on.
And they say here that, like the second sign that you led right into that, you want this person, whether they're good for you or not, that a loving, nurturing relationship should be all about mutual respect and growth within the relationship, but you're overlooking anything that might be bad about this person.
Well, yeah, like I said, this stage is designed by evolution to turn off the this part of your brain here, so that it turns off the critical things, the critical functioning, like, they were just rude to a waiter. Oh no, that was the waiter's part, and they make all these excuses. They don't even see the bad, because that part it's almost like we're giving blinders. There is a certain aspect that love is blind in limerence. The blinders are taken off for real love.
They say here the limerent person is desperate to have the object, no matter whether it's good for them or not, like we said.
Depending on their attachment style.
Yes.
There's a wanting. Yes, there is a wanting. I can't wait to go out with them next week. Oh my God, how can I call them now? There's that. How desperate. That word, if it's highly anxious, yes, oh my God, if someone finally wants me, I want them, and it looks like it will never go away. And there can be that desperation.
Well, and then, that leads to the third point here, which is you neglect your own needs for them, for the person. That is, this infatuation is taking over as a priority to all your needs. That's not good.
No, that's not good. And again, you neglect all your needs. Someone with secure attachment will have some of that, but not all of that. I don't know that, in my own relationship, I can remember that stage, but I don't know that I sacrificed all my needs. I began to prioritize really getting together with her and all that stuff, and I couldn't wait to see her again. But that's more insecure attachment. when I hear sacrifice all my needs. Someone with what I call a right to have their needs met doesn't do that. Now, there's a certain amount of it, but it's not all. It's not. That becomes more of a trauma. That's when people have got developmental incompletes, as I can call them.
Well, again, they're implying that there is that there's people that are toxically limerent.
Yes.
And maybe they're misusing the word, as like you said, you use this in the academic context, and it might be misused here. I think it's important because this has come across my desk so many times. I
Yes.
think I told you that. That's why I want to talk about this, because people are
Oh,
asking
yeah.
the question, what's the difference and why do we need to know?
Well, the difference is it's all about attraction without the knowing. And so it's love without the knowing. Now, in the second stage, it's knowing without the love, because at some point in time, you're thinking, oh my God, what did I get myself involved in? And love is knowing with the love.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there's more projection than knowing. That's not love. How do you love someone you don't truly know? We project our needs, our future, our hopes, our possibility, and all that onto it because of this strong attraction. It's designed just to. It's like a truck. They have a stump puller gear just to get it going when it. But then eventually you've got to shift into other gears that allow you to get some velocity, and the velocity comes from knowing each other, testing each other
Mhm.
in the way of finding out if you can make repairs. How do you deal with conflict? That's love.
Yeah. What about this discussion? What is important for, say, our viewers to understand? Why is this being written about all over the place? What is important for, in a practical way to know about this?
In a practical way. This is the stage where you want to tear your clothes off of each other. It's the stage that says that, like one study I saw, 40% of couples sleep together in the first 3 dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or some on the first date, if not the third date.
Mm-hmm.
And that's too much vulnerability for most people's system. They don't have enough knowing, enough trust built out. And then you get these weird moves like, oh my God, what did I just do last night? And then
Mm-hmm.
people pull away and they, oh my God, they pulled away. And I thought we were doing some great. You can do things too early that the system doesn't have enough trust built for.
Mm-hmm.
It's all go without any of the parameters of, is it wise to take that step?
Mm-hmm.
And the studies have shown if there's like super huge limerence, and boy, we got to get this thing all going on. And let's admit we're talking sexually here. In the first, 30 days, if you've slept together, according to this one study, you're only together or dating a year or later 10% of the time.
Wow.
But if you wait to days 31 to 90, a year later, 75% of couples. That's the difference between when you're addicted to limerence and you don't have any cognitive controls, you don't recognize what it is. So you go, okay, yeah, that's what this is. Let's pull down a few brakes, right? It doesn't mean you have to slam on the brakes. It just means you have to have, you just have to have autopilot on a little bit saying, no, we're not going over 65 for a month or two. Even the research points out that study isn't talking about limerence, but it is implicitly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Too much limerence is a bad thing. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be attracted. But when that dopamine just pushes you, and if you've got a predilection to not weighing in on the risk, then you
Mm-hmm.
make decisions, or you make decisions too early, and then all those parts that got wounded come out. And you can actually ruin a potentially good relationship because people get funky when
Mm-hmm.
they've put in too much investment too soon, and they don't have the surrounding trust to trust that. And then some part pulls back or part gets anxious, and now you've got anxious and avoidant parts, and suddenly the relationship that might have had a chance to make it starts
Wow.
falling apart. You're
Mm-hmm.
getting conflict earlier.
Well, that's the best explanation I've heard yet for waiting to get intimate, waiting to have sex. I wasn't aware of those studies. I'd love to include that. Just by one day, wait, that day 31, it could be a whole other thing,
Yeah.
from 10% to 75%. That's so funny.
And it's probably common sense too. There's an awful lot of people that, I've said it's not about morality, it's just about building trust.
Right.
We're not saying go back to the Elizabethan era.
Yeah.
Right. We're just saying that in the first couple of weeks, first 4 weeks, you get to know each other. Go out on 4 or 5 dates. Doesn't mean you don't kiss or stuff like that, but it's about getting to know each other so that it's not all, you can see more and it's not all green, green, green light.
Right.
It's,
You don't see, and you don't see the red flags when
Yeah.
you're in that state. The red flags don't, or you don't want to see them, and that's the dangerous part.
Well, I will tell you the difference between, I once dealt with, I had a client, he was 35, and he said that he rarely didn't sleep with a woman
Mhm.
on the first or second date.
Mhm.
Rare. And I said, why don't you wait a couple months? And so they dated, and COVID helped them along, I
Mhm.
think.
Mhm.
And then he came in, oh, this is maybe 2.5 months. And he said, well, we made love. And I go, and I said, how was that? And he says, it's amazing. It's amazing how much better sex is when you actually know them. This was a very big revelation.
Mhm.
Now, that's the difference between if you can feel into it,
Mhm.
limerence, pure limerence. And when
Mhm.
you let the attraction stage have a little time to bleed into and grow into the love knowingness stage.
Mhm. Yeah.
We want attraction with knowingness. Feeling known
Yeah.
is going to feel better than just pure limerence.
Yeah, I love that. Well, let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. So you decide if you're like, head over heels with someone and you want to go down relationship road, think about maybe some of the things Dr. Salyer pointed out here. Are you moving too fast? Are you just obsessed? Or, is there real connection here, or real potential for connection? So, Gary, thank you so much. Always enjoy talking with you. You bring such great conversations to the table. I will link to all of your information, especially to your book. Pick that up, Safe to Love Again. You have all kinds of other things going on. I'll have the link to your website below. People can contact you directly. So again, thank you for your time. And I look forward to our next conversation on Second Act TV.
Thank you.